Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar about threat intelligence, a very hands-on session. I'll start with introducing myself. I'm Shenouda. I was born in the Netherlands, as well Hollanda for jullie. And I'm living here as well since my birth. I've worked here, studied here. I'm a cybersecurity expert. I'm a contractor as well. So I've seen a lot of companies from the inside, a lot of ministries here in Holland, the defense industry as well, the army, Dutch army. So I've seen a lot of things in cybersecurity field, which is a very small niche, but a lot of things happen in that niche. I started very hands-on as a technical expert, slowly moved into the cybersecurity world, also very hands-on, installing security measures like Fortinet and Palo Alto and Fusco and all of these vendors you all know. So I've been installing that around the globe, also in Egypt. And after that, I slowly went to more consulting and ISO, CISO roles for companies. In these roles, I've been, shaping the whole cybersecurity landscape for a company, so from A to Z. In cybersecurity, there are a lot of things like security operations. You have GRC. But one of the most interesting things I thought in cybersecurity to show you and to encourage you to use daily in your work and in your processes and in your morning stand-up meetings, because threat intelligence is, in the end, the most important tool or platform where you can get your information, so you know what happened yesterday, how it happened yesterday, what hacks, what victims, and how to use that in your field. So if you know that yesterday a lot of Fortinets were hacked because of some flaw or anything, with that information, you can do some threat hunting. You can use that information for your customers or for yourself in protecting your whole company with that information. Let me share a slide to help me explain this to you. Now, threat intel is something that you can do after being in the cybersecurity business for a while. So you need to understand what's happening. It's knowing the adversary, knowing the enemy, knowing the hackers, knowing how they work, what they want, how they do their reconnaissance, their scanning, how they choose their victims, what they do after hacking, do they do double extortion, like first encrypt your files, ask money for it, and ask money as well for not publishing it online. So that's called double extortion. And knowing the enemy is key for cybersecurity. If you don't know the enemy, then you're just walking behind alerts. You're just waiting for an accident to happen and say, hey, we have an alert, we have an accident, let's investigate. And you do this continuously. Sometimes you have small alerts, but the biggest alert is when it's too late, when you are reacting on hacks. So they are winning the game here. They are doing the more advanced work, while you are basically the world is a sitting duck waiting for them to attack and then to react. Meanwhile, a lot of security vendors sell you solutions and tell you, well, if you install this and if you install that, you'll be safe. But I can tell you from my experience, that's 80% marketing. You need to know for your own what's good for your environment, what's good for your customers, and how to protect them. And knowing these two things will help you much more, shape your cybersecurity plan, what to invest, how much money to put in tools, in people, instead of just buying stuff, placing it, and believing the marketing stories that you'll be safe. So there's work to be done, work on an individual level. This is where the threat intelligence people come in. They are the people that can look forward. They look forward to the window and see what's happening to other people, to other companies, and they know, all right, yesterday this and this company was hacked. We now know why they were hacked, and we're taking extra measures today to prevent that we're becoming as well a victim like they are. So the key reasons are on the screen here. Detection intelligence. Without threat intelligence, you'll not be able to detect the advanced hacks that are coming your way. A lot of solutions have threat intel built in, but that's just to help the solution create smart alerts. That's not telling you what's happened yesterday and what's going to happen tomorrow. That's just making their solution better. So vendors use threat intel to enhance their alerts and discovery. So if you're using that in your detection tools, great, but that's not it. You need to know your adversary. So there are around 202 APT groups right now online on LinkedIn, and I advise you to follow me on LinkedIn. I regularly, when a new threat actor comes into play, write about that threat actor. So I'll make sure I know what they do, what their modus operandi is, what they do against victims, what they ask, what type of ransomware they use. And basic on that information, you have a new threat actor. You know, all right, there are threat actors doing this and that and that. And so we are informed. We can take actions based on that. So new threat actors are very important. Follow me on LinkedIn and you'll get updated daily on new threat actors. By doing threat intel, as I said, you have you know what your priorities are and what your focus is. So you won't just buy security tools because they're selling it to you. No, you know what's the problem in the field, what the hackers are doing, and what you need to do to fix that. So basically, just to show you this whole slide is to get you in the minefield. Why do we do threat intel? And now I'm going to show you, because this is a hands-on session. So what we're now going to show you is one tool. There are many tools, but I'm going to show you one tool that I use. For example, I have the Vatican as one of my cybersecurity responsibilities, and I use threat intel for getting information on threat actors, on their movements, on their darknet communication, what they publish on darknet. I'm going to show you this all. Let me close this slide. Let me go back to where the platform is. So I hope you can see now my platform. We're now on the platform. This is called Cyber Intelligence House. So it's a vendor. This vendor has given me access to this platform for free because they are supporting my work in securing the Vatican. We have around 100 volunteers for the Vatican cyber volunteers, and we get vendor tools to use to protect the Vatican this way. So this is Cyber Intelligence House. I've started with the live view. This is not the view that you see when you start. You see this. You get product news. You can go to monitoring, benchmarking, investigations. But I like to start with live, because live is where actually everyone in cybersecurity should be at in the morning. The first thing you do, even before checking your emails, is knowing what's happening in the world. And this platform shows you that. And every threat intel platform should have a section with this, with news, with information on threat actors, with recent ransomware victims, with recent data breaches, and attack campaigns that are currently ongoing and have a name, and threat intelligence. So basically, when I start with live, I see a few articles. I see 7.2 million Vietnamese consumer database leak. I can investigate that. I will show you this in a minute, but I want to show you first the overview. So here I have a lot of leaks and information about it, files, folders, and also what happened, that people got hacked, and that this information is now online. Same goes for news articles, very important information. For example, this is a very good example. SAP, if you're using SAP and you've read this, now you know, okay, I need to threat hunt on these CVE, these vulnerabilities. And I know if we have that problem as well. So if SAP issues a warning, the threat hunter on tier 3 with threat intelligence should investigate it. And this is the place to investigate this. It's not only SAP. We have Salesforce, the NPM supply chain hack. I'm sure you all have seen that. That was very interesting. I've published an article on LinkedIn as well, dissecting this whole situation with NPM and explaining what happened. So that's very good information as well. These are things that are going right now. So a cybersecurity staff should be informed of this. It cannot be so that I ask you what happened with the NPM supply chain attack and you don't know. If you're in cybersecurity, you should know. Let's move on to threat actors. As I told you, there are around 202 here, and if I sort them on latest, we'll see Dark Army, Jury, Lunalook. I've placed, posts on these ransomware actors as well, so take a look on LinkedIn. But basically, this is where you can, go in, read what they do, where they're from, what victims they have had, and if there are any more information online to read about them. So this is a Moroccan threat actor group with victims and some information on how they hack. So we read here, they encrypt files using code derived from the open source Prince ransomware project available on GitHub. So that's something you can check out when you read this. Oh, it's interesting. Prince ransomware project publicly available on GitHub. That's something you need to investigate and to see what it does and how to detect that and how to take measures. So that's on threat actors. Let's move on to ransomware victims. And the ransomware victims are basically companies and websites that have been hacked today, yesterday, last week. And it's like a warning. It's like, all right, we have casualties here and there. Let's read on why they are casualties. And basically, if it's relevant to us, we should take action as well. So I thought, let me see, which was a big one. I think this one is a big one. This was a company, truck service company in Belgium, very close where I live. So I clicked on this. They were a victim a few days ago. It's not in the news. The funny thing in threat intel is that you will know all the hacks, all the breaches, all the news on cybersecurity before it appears on the actual news, on TV, on your favorite cybersecurity website. You will know weeks before, because these guys like Menton and another Michigan sugar company as well, they were hacked and they were ransomware. They were forced to pay Bitcoin, or else their data will not be released, or they were, threatened to lose their data online, to publish their data online. But if you look at their website or in the news, there's nothing there yet, because because the threat intelligence knows. But the journalists and the websites and all of these things, where did they get their information? From Tetraintel, exactly from this. So this monitors Darknet, it monitors Telegram, it monitors a lot of things we normally don't see online, but where the cyber criminals are active. And it shows you, a lot of information on the victims and what happened. Normally, we can see that. Let me choose another victim. So basically, you can learn from what happened at these companies by actually going deeper into investigating things. And then I'm showing you already something I want to show you a little bit later. But we're already in investigate here. So in investigate, we can do queries. Whatever you fill in here, you'll get all the results this platform knows on the internet, darknet, Telegram. So this could be a lot of queries, very relevant to your organization. And basically, when you do such a query, you will get findings: malware, dark web, social media, deep web. And from this information, by just opening it and using all this raw data, you can actually know what's happening. This is actually information on from the threat actor saying we've hacked Brownstone Agency and also TDK Technologies. And they also tell us what information they have hacked, and they are threatening to release that. So here's 12 gigabytes of corporate data, HR, medical information, accounting, payment, client, project information. So basically, I'm not showing you everything because there's sometimes our passwords and all of that. You can go very deep in what happened here, but I'm showing you only the dark web announcement, because I have to be very selective in what I'm showing you today. It's very sensitive information, as you see. You know a lot of things more than other people, and you can query them. You can query passwords. You can query your old passwords if you've ever been hacked, or other people's passwords. So it can go very, very, very deep. Lastly, I want to show you in this live view the data breaches. And basically, the data breaches is where it went wrong. People got hacked. They didn't pay ransomware, or the threat actor hacked them and released the data immediately. So whenever is a data breach, we have it here, and it also can be shown what has been hacked, all the information on that breach. So I hope I gave you some information here on what you can see in your front window, looking forward and looking around you in the cyber domain, what's happening, rather than sitting behind your network tools and security tools and waiting for alerts. Now we'll go in how we're using this, because all of the information is interesting, but what if I have a domain that I want to check? For example, I have here the Vatican domains, and I have a test domain, few test domains here. I have CNN added for this session, just to show you what it looks like. So in monitoring, I can put a whole domain, just the domain or an IP address or a range of assets online, and I'll get alerts on them. Basically, all the information we saw just in live will be correlated to my machines. Let me show you a better example. Which I'll show you the information very quickly on the Vatican, and I'll show you the exposed assets on a different domain. So when I click on all alerts, all these information from the darknet, if anyone's talk about Vatican.va or even mentions one of the IP addresses I've entered, it will be shown. So I can see if any darknet information is pointing to the Vatican, is saying we've hacked this, or it's this website or this URL has some issues. And I have 1,300 pages here that I can flip to or search. So we can search for past communication there and get information in front. Oh, what are they talking about? what they're planning. Have they claimed something? So when we browse through this, we see several things, and we'll go through them here. Sensitive information can be shown if any data like source codes, alerts will all be here if it was detected. In discussions, we see the forums, like dark web forums, deep web forums, online forums, and they hit the keyword, one of the keywords. So I'm very free to use any keywords here that I want, but basically the keyword that's hitting here is Vatican. I can check an old story here. I get an investigating view, and I can go deeper into what are they talking about? What is going on here? What script social engineering are they doing? So that's all information. Could be interesting. Sometimes it's not. But you decide at that point, what is information for you? What is knowledge that can help you in the future? Black markets, selling credentials, selling scripts, selling whatever. I can check them here. I can see why Genesis is talking about the Vatican. And normally, you don't have access to this, but through threat intel platforms, they have an account already there, and they are actively scraping that forum and putting that in threat intel. So you don't have to go to the dark web and deep web to get that information daily. It's presented here very easily. If any financial information has been leaked, it will be shown here. This includes credit cards, bank account numbers, and a lot of other things. Exposed credentials as well here when username and passwords and clear text passwords have been found, and the username. So basically on that alert, we can directly go to that user, tell him, change your password. Your password is basically online, and try to investigate how it happened. Maybe he's running some strange program on his computer that's leaking browser passwords or whatever to the internet, and he's not knowing it. Here's personal information again on the usernames. I have a few alerts there, but they are old, so that's good. I could go into that as well and see that, but that would be a little bit too much information here. I see, from the 202 hacker groups, who is actually targeting me. And I can see from these alerts that, either an individual or companies are targeted, companies including APTs. So basically from that chatter and from the past, you can see that in fact the Vatican has been a while on the attention of the APT groups. This is during the new Pope, when we got a new Pope. A lot of hacks happened, or attempted hacks and attacks and DDoS. We've seen them all, we've stopped them. And in July, we had another peak. Basically here, if we've been hacked as the Vatican, or you've been hacked as a company or whatever, you will know before anybody will tell you, because this will also create an alert if your company is mentioned in attacks and compromises from 550 source. So it's we can see them here. I'm not going to open them right now, but you get the idea. And anything that was not put in a category will be put here. It's basically a lot of dark web chatter, deep web chatter, and also you see when it intensifies over the time. We can go into exposed assets, but I'm not going to do that with the Vatican domain. I will go to do the CNN domain for the exposed assets, because what you also get from this platform is a little bit of vulnerability management and exposed hosts. So they will actually do this extra for you, because threat intel normally doesn't do this, but it can do it. So the better threat intel providers, they do it. So they will basically on the IP addresses and the domain names you gave the system, they will auto detect what assets are behind that, what assets are exposed, what applications are exposed. And I didn't do anything. I just filled in cnn.com when I made this monitoring account, and it auto-generated it. So I'm actually also pretty surprised that it did it very fast, because I added this only this morning. And it will show you your exposed ports. You can do a vulnerability scan on one or more, multiple one of those. All these IP addresses could contain vulnerabilities. So first it says you have open ports. Now you can also scan for vulnerabilities and know if they're working behind in patches or configuration or anything, because the combination of open ports, being exposed, and being vulnerable, that's, invitation card for any hacker. It means you are sitting duck, you don't know anything about cybersecurity, you're exposed, the door is open, and the way to enter is also open. Also, if you have subdomains you're not aware of, I'll be surprised most of the times when I visit customers, they don't know what they have online, let alone they know their assets inside the company, what's running online as domains and all that. They have no idea sometimes. So you can check those out. Then you can go into detail. So, oh, I have all these exposed hosts. What are they? And this is a bit of a Shodan. If you know Shodan, it's a vulnerability scanning tool also for exposed hosts. It looks a lot like Shodan. So we'll show you the host, show you the domains involved, and you can flick on vulnerability scanning here for this host, so you get also alerted if that dangerous combination of exposed, open ports, and vulnerable is there. Here I can go into those subdomains we've seen and see if I see something strange, something I don't know, something that have been put up and forgotten maybe, and what hosts, IP addresses are related to that. And as I expected, C9 had a lot of subdomains. Also, the applications running on these websites will be filtered, and you can go into them and see what are they doing, and what are just websites and what are actual applications. So basically all these pages are applications for CNN, not just a website. So that's cool. And if I start vulnerability scanning here one by one, I can get a report. I can use that as well in my daily work. They don't have any malicious assets, so that's good, but I haven't scanned yet, so this could be filled whenever a scan is done. I think I have talked a lot right now, and I'm very curious on what you think right now, because the discussion is more interesting than just me showing you what threat intel is, how it looks like when you use it daily, why you should be using it. I'm ready to hear from you guys. Anybody has a question, any remark? I see chats coming in. All right. I have not seen the chat yet, so I see here the first question: if threat actors are constantly evolving their tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs, how can an organization ensure its daily threat integration does not react, but actually anticipates? All right. So actually, I've shown you the integration. I've shown you the live view first, and then I've shown you how you can actually integrate that with your domains and with your assets and your web applications to get information on that. So live is something that you watch as a TV, as your news. You browse through it, you look at the victims and all of that. Okay, now I have my story ready, for example, for my 9:30 meeting, where I meet other people from the SOC and tell them, okay, watch out for SAP, watch out for Apple notifications, watch out for Salesforce CRM, and I give them the TTPs, I give them the IoTs, IOCs, and make sure they are informed before they start their day. But then this platform is also monitoring. So I've added my website, my IP addresses, and will alert me if it correlates the information we saw in live with one of these domains. Just make it easier for yourself. If you're a victim or going to be a victim, this platform will certainly alert you. And with live, you can look forward to the other victims and learn, lessons learned, very important in cybersecurity. The name of the platform I'm using is Cyber Intelligence House, but I want to show you that there are other vendors. Let me see if I can show you that. In the field, of course, that you can use. I'm not showing you just for Cyber Intelligence House, that as you can see, we have Recorded Future, we have CrowdStrike. I've used this one. I've used Mandiant. I've used, where's IBM? IBS somewhere here in this list. Socrator I've used. But as you see, there are many tastes here, and not every product here looks the same. So Cyber Intelligence House looks like I show you, but these guys have different platforms and different usage, and they're open for POC. So if you're interested in threat intel, you can call every one of those and ask them, would you like to use it for a week, for a month? We have questions. Can we get your threat intel through API? Can we integrate the API? You can try their API. So all of them, they provide a test service, so you can try it and correlate it with your own environment. I'll stop this. Let me see. LinkedIn profile has been shared. What are the most common mistake organizations make when integrating threat intelligence to their security operations? Okay, I think the biggest mistake is that they rely on the big blue eyes of the vendor. So you have threat intel everywhere, even in your firewall, in security tools you may have. You always have like a section or option here, threat intel. It's always like in a corner. It's like an engine, and all of these rely on that. But to rely just on that, to tell, hey, my product has threat intelligence built in, so I can sleep safely. No, I've shown you have to look forward, because just relying on your tools, even if they have threat intel, they say built in, it's only making their product better, and it's not giving you information on the field, to what happened yesterday to other companies. If you have to read it from CNN or other news, you're already too late. I show you in threat intel, weeks, even months before it's in the news that it happened. And that's the information I'm showing you right now. Threat intel is proactive. Go into that investigations, read about it, open those things, correlate it, and make a story that's useful for your colleagues at the SOC, for your customers, and in your daily work. Let me see. You say, there's a question about if you're small or mid-sized and you have limited resources, how they can do this. Well, as I told you, by reading the threat intel news only, you can already take action. You know what happened, and you can query stuff, you can investigate stuff. And maybe monitoring costs money, but I know threat intel is not really expensive. It's a lot of work to set up for these companies. Can you imagine? A lot of times they're monitoring 5,000 onion sites on the dark web, on deep web. They have thousands of accounts, and they update these accounts and use those accounts, make them, make them active. So it's a lot of work to get that information there. But surprisingly, the products and the vendors I show you are not very expensive. And basically, every company that's taking cybersecurity serious and has monitoring and vulnerability management, for example, these are the two basic pillars. Need to think forward. If we're monitoring, do we do threat hunting? That's tier three. Or do we only do tier one and two, basically sitting ducks, waiting for alerts, reacting? No, tier three, threat hunting, SOC, it's one line to threat intelligence. So it's actually a logical path to take if you take cybersecurity serious, and you have to. If you don't know what's happening to others, you may be next. Next question, how can organizations strike the balance between sharing threat intelligence openly and protecting sensitive internal data? I know this is a balancing act. If you're protecting sensitive internal data and you do like other companies do, like if they're not obligated to share that they have been hacked, then basically you are making the problem bigger. Threat intelligence is basically admitting that a company has fallen and is sharing that willingly for many millions of others to learn lessons from it and to prevent that same hack happening to them. Because what we see lately is, gulfs of hacks, not one victim, no, many victims. Like in Salesforce CRM hack last month, Adidas, KLM, and a lot of big names were hit in a wave. Why? Because that's how hackers work. They're sitting on a vulnerability and they're waiting for the best time to hit them at the same time, because they know if a big company is hit today, tomorrow, all the other big companies will know about the hack and will already close the door or close the window that caused the problem at the victim. So the threat intel is very important to learn lessons, and maybe it's more important than protecting your reputation and protecting your company and all of that, because you should have taken that in account before the hack. If you care about your company reputation, if you care about your data not being online, and need to deal with these criminals in Bitcoin, then take cybersecurity serious today. Make sure they don't have a chance, and put a team in place that is actively protecting that company. Because I've posted something on LinkedIn as well. The hacker needs to only be right one time, but the defender needs to be right every time. It's more work to defend than to hack, actually. Let me see about, we have a lot of questions here still. There are free and authentic resources available, but as I told you, to set up threat intel correctly, it's a lot of work. You need to have deep web, dark web accounts. You need to have access to forums. No, these forums won't accept you directly as a new user, so you need to have a dark web reputation or deep web reputation. And the best of these threat intel companies, they have that. They have accounts, they have personas, they have this whole thing set up just to scrape that information and to bring that to the normal world, if you want to say, and to benefit us from that data that they're bringing. But there are free ones. I think IBM X-Force has a free tier, and there are communities of threat intel as well. You can check those out. But the best information is the paid information. You can imagine that. And the vendors I've shown you are all paid vendors. But this way you can ensure you have the best threat intel and the latest, because you may be as well getting free threat intel or cheap threat intel, but you don't know the information you're missing. So if they present you all the information or information that's walking behind 2 or 3 days, that's not useful while you're paying for them. So you need to be on the best, basically. And I'll leave you that to figure out who's the best for you. Let me see. Let me see. Are there more threat intel? Yes, threat intel. Is that, do we mean internally or externally? Let's say threat intel is always external, looking external, forward, as I said, to darknet, outside actors, other victims, all of that. But it takes that information in and it correlates that with whatever you have inside. So basically, Salesforce CRM with a certain chat function should have triggered an alert if you're using that inside as well. Even Google was hacked. Well, they warned for this hack a month ago, month before it happened. It's tricky, but if you don't take action on the information you bring in from the outside inside, then you're sitting duck as well. There are actions to be taken with that information. And this is why you need to know exactly what happened at the ransomware victims, so you can take action. That's more valuable than buying another security tool or something. Someone said there are no free drinks for threat intel. Well, they are. You'll be surprised what information that is out there. I've not shared a lot of things on that basis, but with a good Google search, you'll find huge overviews of threat intel links, free ones, paid ones. But again, if you have a company and you rely on this, and especially if you get hacked a lot or a lot of attempts for being hacked, or you're a big company that has a lot of attention of hackers, then I advise you to set something up decently. The question here from Michael is, how do you communicate threat intelligence insights to non-technical executives? Well, this is what I do daily and what I do to the Vatican since 3.5 years now. The Vatican has an excellent IT team. But cybersecurity, not so much. They don't understand cybersecurity too much. They don't have a CISO. They don't have a CISO office. This is why we started helping them with 110 cybersecurity experts from all over the world. But what I do when I have a security finding from them, I get the security finding, I verify it, I analyze it, and then the hardest thing starts. I have to translate this threat intelligence towards action, towards, hey, IT team, you have a situation here. This is the situation. It doesn't help you. What will help you is this. First step, update this SSL TLS certificate. Secondly, patch that machine. Thirdly, update those drivers. Fourth, get that proxy offline. In actionable items for them to take action, because the translation between security and IT is missing, is always missing. And the people like us need to do that translation. We know exactly on the security side what's the problem, but we need IT to fix it. And the only one who can explain to IT how to fix it is us, is the people who get that security information. So you need to have a decent IT background as well to be able to work in this field. As I said, threat intel is one of the advanced positions you can have. It's a tier 3 position you can have at a SOC, and it's a very advanced service that many companies like Atos or Capgemini or Deloitte are selling as a service to the customer. Like we sell you monitoring, we sell you vulnerability management, and you get a threat intelligence package with that, meaning someone daily or weekly will call you and show you all the stuff I showed you, and will tell you what's relevant for you, because the threat intelligence guy also needs to know what's inside. What are the assets? What vendors are they using? Salesforce? Are they using SAP? Do they have Apple products? And whenever a problem arises on those fields, it's the responsibility of the threat intel officer, or whatever you want to call him, to notify this company early, before the hack happens. Let me see the next question here. Nuran, if you want to interrupt at any time, feel free. I'll just do the questions. Let me see. Okay. one metric or story that make executives truly pay attention to threat intelligence reports. Well, that's also very easy. That's very easy. What I do with the list of ransomware victims, the first thing I scan are European companies and especially Dutch companies, because a ransomware victim is as well an example for your executive team, for your executive leadership. The fact that you know that they've been hacked and they've been extorted and they have to pay Bitcoin and it's not in the news yet. That's awesome. That's, that open mouths at executive boards and all of that. And even if you can tell them, look, we're not a victim, but with this information, we need to take action. That's the whole thing. That's the easy part. I don't think it's very hard to sell threat intel once you grasp, everything we do in cybersecurity is sitting ducks, is reactive, and threat intel and threat hunting is the little part that we're missing. A lot of companies are missing that we actually need to do. That's the proactive cybersecurity posture you need to have, rather than waiting for alerts and hoping that the vendor is correctly and saying, if you install this, everything will be fine. This product blocks everything. It will do your security, will update, it will alert you. That's great, but that's already too late. That means the guys are already busy hacking you. Okay, that's interesting as well. Thank you, Noor and Ali. This will be on YouTube. Oh, that's cool. Any more questions? Any more remarks? You're welcome. So, Nuran Ali, I think the questions are depleted here. If you want to say something, go ahead, or else we'll give the people 10 minutes back from their time. You're welcome. Or anyone from the iExpert team, if you would like to make any remarks here to finish this call. All right, I see it in the chat. I thank you all, and thank you for your time. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and let's talk threat intel if you're interested. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.